Alright, welcome everyone. So, obviously we just came off of our loss with Everfall, which was very unfortunate. A lot of things that happened there that basically precipitated that loss. Chief among them was Purple actually put literally their entire faction together and really pushed it together. They finally got their shit together, which to me is kind of nice to see that they're actually, you know, not just a lame duck, that will actually have something to do. Other than just green. But we lost Everfall, but the good news is now we don't have to fucking defend it all the time. Like, I don't know about everyone, but I know a lot of those defenses, especially for Mark, it was just constantly organization and shit like that. And, you know, a lot of time was lost dealing with that sort of aspect of the game. So now we kind of have a little bit more freedom to do what we want to do. As a group, we can go for another location right now. The chief thing that I think that HBM needs to move forward with is basically maintaining the community, pushing together. So there's a couple of requests that we're here to make. We don't want anyone to stop grinding. We want everyone to start moving forward to level 60. But we also want some of the 60s that already exist, that are already here, to actually just take a little bit of time and actually help others with progress. One of the things we really want to push right now is the actual community aspect of the community. So the more you can do to help that, the more it's just going to benefit everyone. So still push levels, still play the game, take your time with it, enjoy it, but remember that ultimately the game kind of begins at 60 in some ways. We're playing a different game right now. For those of us who aren't at 60. Gear score is going to also matter. We're going to need groups to do that. So, like, for example, I'm 46, and I was, grinding up with the level 60s stuff. Now, granted, I had to be protected and babied through it, but, it was still just a fun little thing to do because I was doing it with the group that, that we're playing with. So, remember that, yeah, we took a loss. We took it on the chin. I want to close ranks a lot with this Discord. I just invite people to come here more often. If you see me in a room fucking around, please come hang out with us. You don't have to just segregate to your own groups. You're free to, if you want to just hang out with your friends. But grow the community, grow yourself into the community. We want you here because the game's really gonna begin, I think, in a couple of weeks for us. We're, some of us were a little behind. Like I said, we need to push, but we're all moving in the right direction. And like I got a fucking job to deal with. I'm sure everyone else has their own real life things. I don't want you guys to skip out on real life for this game when, like I said, it's just beginning. That is the thing to take away most is we're, yeah, we lost, but we're moving forward in a positive way. And if anyone has any requests for anything, by all means, we're gonna, we want to hear it. We want to be around for you guys. So, with that, I think I've had everything to say, Mark.
Pretty much, I want to go over a little bit. I mean, we don't even have to do it in here because a lot of people already know what to do. But if you have any questions about what to do after 60, what's the best way to level, anything like that, hit me up. I'm happy to answer any questions. There's a lot of things to do that are optimal if you want to try to get up to warring gear quickly. That's pretty much our goal right now. We wanna get everyone up so that we can do a 50-man raid of HBM only, and to me, that's the best way to do wars. Have 50 guys that are all here trying to have fun and wanting to win, and doing it based on what we've progressed together, right?
Yeah.
So
one thing too, like some of these wars, we're going to be probably pressing. I'd like to still be pressing wars with the expectation that well, without expectation, I guess is a better way to look at it, because it's still a lot of money and tokens. It's just very valuable. So even if we decide to push something, it'll still be very good for the whole community, and we will start basically favoring HBM members because who cares, like fuck some of these other groups that are basically going to just do their own thing, I'm not worried about that.
I mean, the reality of the situation is that we need to have good players to win wars. Like it's just not viable to go up against an organized comp with good gear and all that with our low levels. We're just gonna get rolled over, and that's not very fun. But instead of me having to go around and beg other companies to give us their best, I'd much rather spend that time making you guys the best. That's kind of my goal here. And we'll fill in with other companies that have spent time to work with us and all that other good stuff. And we will have wars for people who can't get there, but at least from what I'm looking at, it's not going to be hard to get everyone in the company there in a few weeks' time. Like it's really doable as long as we work together and we work as a team and we make sure to help each other out when we can.
Josh, I think you had something.
Oh, just say along the way, don't burn yourself out either, though. We're all gonna. I know, like pushing this game super hard. It's fun, and it'll be more fun when we all are level 60 and able to do that content together. Don't burn yourself on the way. Have the fun on the way, but once we get there, yeah, we'll be having a lot more fun. I promise.
All right, so I guess we can open the floor to any sort of questions at this time. I don't want to keep everyone here too long. We just wanted to address, obviously, what had happened the last couple of days. There's one more subject that I want to talk about, but we'll address this for now. Is there any questions?
What do they do if they have questions?
They raise their hand. They put a request in to speak. Oh, we have a request from a Resnog. Uh-oh. Can I just dismiss that request? Fine.
Wow.
Invite sent, Resnog.
Man, so mean.
Hey, you caused me no shortage of bullshit this last couple of days.
Yeah, you cost me my Everfall fast travel.
Correct. Yeah. You want me to make it work? I'll do it.
No,
Ow.
I don't know.
do we have a plan for the $250,000 we have chilling in our guild bank? Or is that being talked about at least?
Yes. It's absolutely being talked about. There's not a solid plan yet.
I have an idea, but
Lamborghini.
we don't want to say anything until it's like set in stone.
Do you have a suggestion? I mean, don't say it now. You don't have to, but we can talk about it later.
I'm
all
open to
open
talking
for
about it.
suggestions, boys.
It just has to be handled differently now because we don't have our like $200K a week coming in anymore. So.
Well, it's less than that, but we do need to keep some of it in the bank for events like the wars that will come because they're 10K each. Now, granted, if we spend that on wars, like it's so much more. So if we spend 10K on a war and we go into war, and even if we lose, everyone gets 1,000 or like 2,000 plus tokens. It's like a lot of money. So it actually literally comes back to us in the 50 people. It's almost like spreading it out. So I kind of like that's one of the ways that we're talking about using it. But we just, like I said, we need to set it in stone, and we'll get more answers for you later.
Cool.
All right. Thank you, Caesar. I've invited you. Go ahead and jump. Yeah.
I was just going to comment and ask, what are you guys going to do about the hardcore players? Because I know a lot of them are disappointed that we lost the war and are probably looking for other guilds. How are you going to try to hold them?
Mark?
I mean, if they're getting butthurt because we lost a war, then they don't understand how this game works.
Well, it's not so much that, but it's also some of the lack of organization, military strategy, the calls during battles. All this stuff has been very lacking.
I mean, from the last war, just the natural progression of how the wars work, we learn what works and what doesn't. What happened last war didn't work, and there's a lot of reasons that could have been. As far as our prevailing theory is, we just got rolled over because they sent the best of their faction in, and we didn't have that. There's a lot of other things to learn from that too, which is like what comms do you have? What military strategy do you have to counter overwhelming odds in that fashion?
Well, I have quite a few. If you want me to go over them now or later.
Well,
I mean,
we're
I
happy
would love to hear them.
Yeah.
I don't think this is necessarily the time, but absolutely, I'd love to hear them.
Yeah, there's
For any hardcore hardcore player though that's here and disheartened, I encourage you to not be, because like this is just the game. This is how it works. We get better with every war, and I mean ultimately we're here for the long haul. We're not going anywhere. This is the place to be. And some of the other hardcore Covenant companies don't. I mean, I'm not interested in competing for them in that manner.
I'll say this: we are going to try to still push things to do. Like I said, we want to work on the company a little bit more, which includes low levels. Like I said, we want to have some of the higher levels help push the low levels, or assist with that. But that still means that the people like the leaderships probably has to deal with the most to help that group, the more hardcore, actually have content and things to do. So we're still going to be, like for example, we're still going to be assisting other guilds, when they call for it. We have no desire to drop that. Like we're still going to be pushing for the Covenant as a whole, but we just have some things that we have to adjust. So if anyone does have problems or concerns or thoughts, we are absolutely amenable to hearing them.
I want to hear them.
Yeah.
I'm not just amenable. I desire your feedback. Just make sure it's, constructive and civil, because otherwise you're not going to get what you want, and I don't want to deal with that either.
Yeah, we're our community of friends who play games. We play many games together, and we're not going to take the toxic route of where we just force people to, be a dick like everyone else has done so far.
Does that adequately satisfy your...
Oh, well, I was talking more about, what are we going to do about the sieges and stuff? There's obviously battle plans.
We're gonna do
Are
what
we
we
just
have
not
to.
caring about the sieges anymore?
Oh,
Are
we need to
not going
focus
the
on other
offense?
things right now, like leveling. Because even if we had the perfect plan, it's not going to matter if we're going to get met with that much of a gap in gear.
And also why do we have so much split between the level 60s, like in the guilds? Is that a thing, or does it really matter?
What do you mean
Yeah,
split?
some people have lives, some people
Because,
don't.
well, what I mean is, why aren't our level 60s in HBM1?
Sorry?
Why aren't our level 60s in HBM1?
Why
Because it
What does
doesn't
it matter? Yeah, what
Makes
do we
it
get
easier.
from putting them all in one guild?
It's a little big pain in the ass.
How?
In what
What?
way?
I mean,
Okay, for comms, nobody ever uses general chat or the guild chat because there's got 3 different guilds. The hardcore players are always just split up because of it.
But that's
You're these
going to
hardcore
happen
players you're talking
anyways.
about.
Like, what you're suggesting would end up causing a massive rift between anyone who considers themselves hardcore and anyone who's more casual in nature. Because the thing is, in the way this game operates, those casual and hardcore players are going to be one and the same in a couple weeks. The cap is not very high. And I will say it's kind of in that for a reason, because we do have multiple guilds. Using company chat is not the right way to communicate to your company members, because then you're only talking to half or a third. You
plus
want
the
to
chat
use
system kind of
Discord
shit.
as much as possible. This game is not very multi-company friendly in that way, but luckily Discord lets us subvert that very easily. Does that make sense? I have not used company chat once to organize a single thing, and most of the time I can get whatever I need done organized. Now you could say that's because I'm the GM, but I mean, anything I do, you guys could do just as easily. You just go around the channels and ask for help, and there's a lot of people ready and willing to help,
And to be
whether
fair,
they're
you
level
may not
60
always
or
do
level
that.
40.
People might be busy sometime, but that's the way life is, I guess.
And more importantly, at least from the hardcore player's perspective, they're the people I'm expecting to use Discord the most, so they should have the least problem for that.
And if you want to nominate a channel 60 room or level 60 channel or something to organize better, we can facilitate stuff like that. It may not be only level 60s, but you know, if you're looking for more ways to organize, I don't know that a single guild's gonna solve that problem, or a single guild building the quote-unquote hardcore is gonna be the solution. And to be fair, we've actually done that before, and it causes
Very
eternal
big
hell.
split. I think fostering the health of the community and making sure there isn't a massive split between hardcore and casual players is going to be what makes us much more competitive in the long run.
And sustainable.
Did that answer your question, Caesar?
Caesar?
All right.
Come on.
Any other questions?
Crix. Why is Crix here?
Hey, Crix. Well, why not?
Alright, well, you asked the question, so. Well, looks like I lost the war.
Yes, we did.
Crix, you gonna take that invitation?
Wait, what?
Not Zrax. Crix.
Sorry, guys. Just trying to figure out how to use this thing.
You're good?
What do you mean why am I here? I'm HBM Blood true and true. I'm the guy that's sitting in the other channel that you guys can't see, having your back at every corner. So,
I believe it.
I'm also level 76 Everfall. I bet you I'm the highest in Everfall than anyone else.
Ooh, I don't know about that one, but maybe.
Maybe. I don't know. It's a pretty tight crew there. But anyway, my whole point of being here is twofold. I'm surprised that absolutely nobody is talking about the Frost Gauntlet bug that was used against us, that has been being used against every other company in New World, like all over the forums. That's the AO. So we reviewed our videos from a couple guys that were streaming, and it was most definitely being used in that last battle. My average damage went from around 700k to just over 200k because every single one of my arrows desynced and disappeared the moment I shot it. The only things that were working were AoE abilities that were on 20+ second cooldowns. I couldn't even knock my own cooldowns down by hitting somebody because I didn't have any arrows. And I still used all of my arrows. So it was kind of like a tough situation. I don't think that we should be as discouraged as we're all feeling, especially considering that was just used against us. I don't know if anyone saw the same fight that I saw down on the ground, but everyone was moving like they were pretty much blocked, pixelated, frozen characters, and I was just taking damage, and I couldn't hit anybody or see any shots register. So
Yeah, Chicky posted a video of that too, actually.
Yeah, so like I think that there needs to be a little bit of patience here, obviously with the developers, but also with each other. I mean, how frustrating is it to lose a place, let alone to lose a place and not even be able to defend it? I mean, I was frustrated, but I've let go of that, knowing that this is obviously an issue within the game, and it's an issue that's persistent and is happening all around us already in every single server. So it is what it is. We obviously don't have to stoop to their level to beat them and do that, but I think it's wise just to let everybody level up and catch up and wait for these bugs to be ironed out, and we won't run into situations like that again. My point of being here was twofold in that I just wanted to bring some awareness to the fact that Depravity that day had absolutely no, and these are my real life friends. These are like people that I know personally, have gamed with personally, and a lot of them have also been a part of HBM through our Atlas days. They didn't want to attend because they were told that they couldn't come in their formed PvP groups, that they had been spending a lot of time synergizing with one another to get really good, and all they focus on is PvP. These are the most hardcore PvPers I know. And they were told that they weren't welcome to come in their groups. And then I heard while we were at the war that half of our 60s, and by our I mean HBM and our faction, were on that offensive that day, and we could have used some stronger players, but I just found myself a little frustrated in that our highest players were turned away.
So HBM, any 60 in HBM was put in for sure. Nobody should have been in Monarchs. And just so I can be clear, it wasn't that I didn't want them to be in their set groups. It's that the people that were put into each individual party were put that way to fill a raid-wide spec. If I were to move a 5-man in from Depravity, then the 3 guys that end up coming in that are in that group to fill that spec end up getting sent somewhere else. That doesn't synergize at all with the other groups. It's not that I don't have faith in Depravity's ability to make a 5-man. In fact, I'm sure they do a fantastic job. It's that we had to rely on your guys to fill in gaps in our comp, on our 50 wide comp. And it's not even because of, any sort of necessity. It's that I had to find 25 to 30 people to fill in that don't normally come to these attacks because they decided that Monarch's assault was important enough to neglect Everfall's defense. And they did that knowing I had a 24-hour period, and that's like I'm not even actually, it was 23 and a half hours, and assuming I had to sleep and everyone else had to sleep and all that good stuff, I had about a 6-hour window to organize this thing. So it's not that I didn't want to give you guys a 5-man group. It's that I couldn't. It was not. It was going to end up with us having, too many tanks and not enough healers and too many range DPS and all that good stuff, which at the end of the day didn't matter, but those are things that I have to foster when developing a defensive raid. It takes a lot of time and organization, and trying to fit in the wishes of Depravity to be a 5-man group is something I desire to do, but can't. In
Or
the
couldn't,
the
rather.
in the situation I was put in on that particular defense.
I completely understand. I just think that, going forward, especially as allies, I guess maybe I misunderstood the level of our allegiance here between the two companies. I was under the assumption that we were all kind of working together under the same roof. Is that when you need backup or you need help in these coming wars, you're ultimately going to want groups of people that can jump in, and you can take the commander of that group into your channel and direct them, and it will take so much more weight off your shoulders when you have a group that's already fine-tuned to work together.
Let me point something out to you that's kind of the opposite. The way Atla wants to set up his side is to have those pre-constructed groups working together. And if HBM wants to throw, they ask, you have 10 slots to put in, and we don't have a specific 5-man that works together that's like this, or that doesn't fit the comp that you want, we're not going to be allowed to go either. The people that are defending, you guys are responsible for your defense, and we will try to conform to yours, but why shouldn't you try to conform to our needs?
I don't think it was so much that we're not conforming to the needs. There was definitely we still had some members come and conform to your needs. I did that no problem. I asked Mark every day if you guys need a hand, and I'm sure there's other members that are also doing the same. It's just that when I just think that the way that it was communicated came off like a little obviously cut and paste because you need to, because you explained it quite perfectly. But there wasn't any hope of the future of us being able to, have those groups. And the way that it was just said to Atla translated in a negative sense to the rest of the company. And now, I feel like I'm the only one in the company that is here right now. You know what I mean? I'm trying to be here as a, I guess a gateway between two gaming groups. I absolutely love you guys and adore you guys, and I know how much work you're putting in for this. And I think that it's best that we foster communication and connections as much as possible. I guess that's all I'm trying to.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm
here.
just saying though, you basically asked a question about why weren't you guys allowed in, and
oh no, it wasn't that we weren't allowed in. They just don't even want. Yeah, they just didn't feel like there was any hope of them ever coming in a group again.
Not, dude. It was just that one session. It was.
Yeah, and that's what I said as well, right? I think it was just communicated a little differently. But moving down the line, I think that it's not a lost cause. I think it's something that we can all, once we're all 60, we can all have a little more experience working together, and I think that I think we won't have these issues. Hopefully, right? Anyway, that's.
I don't have any particular issue with depravity at all. As far as I'm concerned, kind of like you said, basically we're kind of one and the same.
Yeah, the officers of the company we're all HBM and Atlas.
Yep.
So
I don't think Atla was, but that's
no,
not
Atla
a
wasn't.
not
No,
a big deal.
Atla was not. Yeah, but I mean, yeah. Anyway, I don't want to take up everyone's time. I just want to say again, I'm super thankful that you guys put in all this time and energy to research this stuff, and I've had a lot of fun. I think we have a lot more fun on the horizon, and I'm looking forward to help out however I can.
Sounds good.
All right, thank you. We have another question from Richard Bagger. You are invited.
Ah, there we go. What's
Yeah,
up, guys?
It's a new feature, so we're using the shit out of it.
Yeah, still learning that one myself. And just to echo what Crick said, hey, thanks guys for all the organization and stuff. This is definitely for all my MMOs been the greatest group effort I've seen. And just maybe I'm a little more fledgling in my understanding of like the economy and stuff in this game. But now that we are between homes, so to speak, is there somewhere a certain town that economically we should be trying to like pull and dominate in, so that we're maybe supporting depravity or one of the other covenant guilds? Like how do we organize that as a faction, and now that we no longer have a home as a company?
I mean, here's
Or
the
does
the
it even
bigger
matter enough?
like my personal opinion is that we're gonna start seeing territories flip very often.
Okay.
Um, I want to take Everfall back. I also want to take Ebonscale. That's pretty much the best I can give you right now on where like it's up to you at the end of the day.
Right now,
Okay.
I feel like Evanscale is one of those really important ones. Brightwood's going to be important because it's central location. Weaver's Fen's going to be important because we have to push the defense. We have to get their resources up, and so when they ask to put together like cannons upgraded, they will basically put a town quest board thing going, and then we actually have to perform those quests to do that. So it's going to be very important for us to basically help them, because right now, that's like I don't really care much about Monarchs. It's not really any home that we've had. Weavers is like
Oh, let's not go under every look. Here's the bottom line.
right now
I
Weaver's
suppose.
Fen is our allies. We need to help defend it. That's what I think. But
But he's talking about setting up a home, and it's
that I
really
can't
just
answer.
wherever you want.
Well, I guess I meant home more metaphorically, as far as like what when I'm doing town boards or things like that. I want to make sure I'm investing that in stuff that benefits our faction and our allies. And so I actually think he was more correct in that. So I'll lean towards Weavers for now while we work to take Everfall back.
Don't
Right.
let that affect your leveling. Like if you're level 40, Weaver's Fen, is I think the right area for you.
Sure.
But if you're like level 20, don't go there. If you're level like 50, just do what's natural for where you should. But if you're going to be crafting stuff, Weaver's Fen is going to be one of the better places right now. We get a discount, and all that money goes to our allies. So,
Perfect. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
yep. Oh, by the way, thanks for the positive words about the community. It's much
Yeah, of
appreciated.
course. Of course. Thanks for setting it up.
Yep. We got Resnuk again. If you guys could, the rest of you guys go back down to the audience.
Yeah, there we go. There's a little bit of a lag on when you hear the sound when you can actually accept the invite. So this is pretty much public info at this point. At least it's out there, and I'm going to ask about it. So AlphaGuard offered to help us defend Everfall, and we made the choice to not accept their help, which I believe was mostly a decision made on pride. Is that how we're going to continue moving forward? Are we going to reject help from AlphaGuard in the future or other guilds that may want to help us?
In a very simple way. That is a political nightmare. We are, we put ourselves up in a lot basically saying we're here for the Covenant, we're here for you guys, and while we wanted to do everything we could to defend Everfall, that, like we're already getting all sorts of shit because basically the whole thing with Purple, like, it's fucking super sensitive right now, and there's people just, which is actually would be my last subject, which I guess I'll segue into now. But there's literally a faction, a small faction, that literally only want to basically shit on HBM. They care for nothing. They just want to kind of I don't know, cause discord, and they're trolls. So with stuff like that already in the mix, we didn't think it was at all viable. Or, I mean, trust me, me and Mark actually argued on it quite a bit. But
I don't want to. I do want to correct though. It's not like pride is a very small part of it. Like at the end of the day, it was a risk. It was
The exact statement was, "I would rather lose Everfall than bend the knee to green, or bend over for green, or something along those lines." Like it was
the risk of bringing green
or
in.
B Green's bitch. That's what it was.
The risk of bringing green in was a real one. They are affiliated with groups that aren't very happy with us. I don't know. I would have. At the end of the day, the deciding factor is I wanted to put my chips in with the faction of the people who made the effort to stand with us and defend Everfall over a less logical decision of going after Monarchs. Those are the people I wanted to put my chips with, not another faction whom, as we can see, already had their sights on Everfall. It was a gamble to put them on our defense. I don't know how they would have performed. And at the end of the day, they would have also charged us. I mean, there's a whole house of factors. And while I may have also put in the statement like that, Reznok, understand that there was more at play.
Of course, there's a lot of play, and the politics would have been a nightmare, but it would have been a nightmare of politics while we have a territory. Now it's a nightmare of politics, and we have nothing.
You're assuming they actually would have helped.
You're also assuming that their help would have actually tipped the scales, which I don't think it would have been.
I strongly disagree on that, but
This is not a place. Let's just not argue about things here. We have a lot of people here.
Right, said my piece.
Well, anyways, thank you for the questions. Is there anyone else? This is like pretty much the last opportunity. I'm just going to say one more thing.
I have slightly positive news.
What's up?
I'm just going to say congrats to Strongbad, the winner of the $20 Steam code for the donation event that I did. Although only 2 people participated, congrats.
That's the benefit of paying attention to Discord, man.
I didn't see that either, I'm gonna be honest. Fuck.
It was announced to everyone.
Yeah, we're good. I only did one $20 code this time because only 2 people participated, but we had multiple people who are willing to pitch in more for more codes and stuff. So the next time I run one, you know, the more people that participate in that, the more codes we give out.
Sounds very fun. I do want to say also, for those of you who are hitting 60, we are going to be running the 580 weapon quests. And if you're a healer, I'm going to be doing that tonight. Just try to stay in the loop if you're in there. It's best to run those quests together. Even if you don't have those quests, a lot of the areas you have to run, very good for getting your gear up. And you get to help out your fellow guild members. Once everyone gets to start getting their 580 gear, we're going to be running Merc Guard a lot. And just to go kind of in short on how gear score works, your gear equipped does not increase your gear score drop. It works based on what you're getting off the ground. So your RNG drops go up little by little as you get more per slot. So getting those 580 weapons don't really help you to get better weapons, but they're great to use until then while you're farming up there. If that's confusing, I don't want to spend too much time on it. A lot of people already know a lot about it. I'd be happy to answer it in a different form. I don't want to have to keep everyone here. But that's the plan for 60 plus. If you don't know about it and you're trying to get to 60, town boards are fantastic. They do cost a little bit of money. Try not to spend it on the really expensive items. And side quests help to get that money as well. That's pretty much all the pointers I have for leveling. I did want to make sure to say that bit.
And the main thing we all agree here is, yo, it's been awesome meeting everyone new who's coming here. Everyone's been super awesome. Love hanging out with all these new people in Discord. Made some really good friends. And thank you, everyone, for being here. You guys are awesome.
You can just stop being so positive. Fucking jerk.
One of us has to be, man. One of us gotta be.
I've been positive. Like I said, I mean, losing it's been experience, and now we just get to play the game a little differently instead of having to always be worried about wars. Which they said it was going to be less quick, but it didn't seem like those wars are coming any slower than they were supposed to be. But we'll see how that goes.
They're trying to, but it doesn't seem to be working out yet.
Last thing, so like I said, there is that faction that's just trying to shit talk HBM. If you see it, I would say report it and just put them on ignore, because literally there's nothing to be said to them. And they have like 15 guys that will literally just, you know, start spamming you guys and choking out the entire Discord, or I'm sorry, faction chat. So just, you know, leaving the shitters that they are. With that being said, I'm looking forward to the next week or so. See how things progress.
You're roboting.
Good.
All right.
Meeting adjourned.
Yeah, thank you guys for being here. You guys are free to go. If you guys have any further questions, please message me, or you can follow me down to fucking
Deus Volt.
Deus Volt, and you can yell at me. I'll take it all. Let's hear. Also, thanks Olama for all the organization with the crafting. Shout out to Smoke and Josh on recruiting. Drex obviously made my life a hell of a lot easier with all the planning he's been doing, so shout out to you as well. Drex, you've been huge help for me. Jade, fuck you. Yep. And yeah, thank you all for being here.
And everyone else, you're great too.
Thanks everyone here.
Now
get out of here. You don't gotta go home, but you don't gotta stay here.
In Deus Volt.
I'm gonna go to Deus Volt now to get yelled at.
Motherfucker.
Mark,
You
I'm
thought
here to
we
yell
were
at
done?
you.
You thought we were done?